Are you taking ZEPBOUND? Are you taking Wegovy, Saxenda, Ozempic, or any other uh, drug that is specifically for weight loss, right? Any weight loss medication. And we all know that Ozempic has a side effect of being able to help you lose weight. It's specifically created for type 2 diabetics. But are you taking any of these medications? And my question is, are you still feeling hungry? Are you still feeling hungry? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about that and what you can do to fix it. Hi. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Angela Durant. My friends call me Ange, and this is ZEPBOUND Journey with Ange. On this channel, I talk about my ZEPBOUND journey, right, of weight loss, and I'm someone who struggled with my weight almost my entire life. I specifically remember from around age 7 up, I've struggled with my weight. Right, my highest weight, I was 331 pounds. I've had bariatric surgery twice. I've been in and out of Weight Watchers a countless number of times, and I've lost a lot of weight, and I've gained a lot of weight, and I've lost a lot of weight, and I've gained a lot of weight, and I haven't been able to find something that helps me sustain it long term. And I started I have a whole medical team. Let me put the disclaimer in now. I am one girl. This is one girl's journey. This site is here for community, for encouragement and support, for some. If you have questions, you're just curious about what is this all about and how does this work. I am here to share the good, bad, and ugly of the new cutting edge weight loss medication, and the one that I am currently taking is called ZEPBOUND. The creator of ZEPBOUND is Eli Lilly. You may have heard of Mounjaro. Mounjaro is the same drug, but it is prescribed for type 2 diabetics. And in the fourth quarter of 2023, ZEPBOUND was FDA approved for weight loss. So I started my journey with ZEPBOUND in February. And the reason I didn't start it sooner was because my insurance does not cover it. My insurance would cover I would say it's kind of competitor drug, which is Wegovy by Novo Nordisk. But if you've been searching for it, I live on the East Coast in the US, we can't get it. So I've been on the wait list for Wegovy since August, and we are now in March. Okay. So in February, just 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, this Thursday will be 2 weeks, I started ZEPBOUND. Okay. When I started, my weight was 296. And in that time, I'm down about 11 pounds, right? I'm just finishing up my second week, getting ready to hit my third week, and I'm down 11 pounds. I've had 2 injections. That's how the medication is administered, through a syringe, a pen, like a pen with a little teeny tiny super thin needle. You can hardly feel anything. And it's done with the drug that I'm taking now. It's done every week. Every week I take the medication. So if you're returning to the channel and you've heard all of this before, you know my story, then welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you here. And please be sure to subscribe. A lot of you are starting to watch the videos. If this is giving you value, if you enjoy the channel, please subscribe so I know that you're there, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I drop a new video. As you may imagine, with weight loss medication, things can happen at any time. There could be some side effects that pop up. There could be some great wins that happen. And I want to make sure that I'm recording those for you and dropping those. So the plan is to have a video once a week, but there may be videos that are dropped in between there, depending on what happens. And I'd like for you to find out first, and communicate with you that way. So please be sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell. All right, so let's jump in. The question is, are you still hungry, or can you still be hungry? For those of you who may not be on the medication yet and you're wondering, well, if I take this medication, I have a pretty hearty appetite. Am I still going to be hungry? Am I going to be like white knuckling it, trying with willpower not to eat? on the medication. Okay. Um, and so the first thing that I want to say is that when I think about hunger, I think about two types of hunger, right? Two types of hunger. The first type of hunger is, your physical hunger, right? The second type of hunger is what we call headhunt hunger, or could also be known as food noise, right? So what does this look like? So how do you know the difference between whether it is physical hunger, true physical hunger, or if it's this head hunger? Well, physical hunger is pretty easy to be able to recognize and know, right? It's pretty easy. We all have it. Our stomach growls. We know we're hungry. You haven't eaten in a while, and you're starting to feel like you're starving, right? So you haven't eaten in a while. Your stomach is growling. You're physically hungry, right? I will say that when you're on the medication, you can still control yourself. If you have those hunger pains, you still will get hunger pains. If you haven't eaten in a while, your stomach will growl, right? If your stomach is empty and it wants food, it will still let you know, right? So even on the medication, the physical hunger does happen. It does happen. But on the medication, you can control it better. For those of you who suffer from the disease of obesity, you will know the difference. Okay. The second hunger I want to talk about is, let me just say, okay, so for physical hunger, you've eaten, you have this physical sensation of fullness in your belly. But with head hunger, you have that physical sensation, but you still want to eat something. You still want to snack. You still want to grab a little something. You might want to get a second plate or a third plate, right? That hunger is what I consider head hunger, right? That's what I consider head hunger, because you're physically, really, you're not hungry. You just want a little bit more, right? And doesn't mean that you suffer from the disease of obesity and you have all these cravings if you want seconds. No, it doesn't mean that. But if all you can think about is the food, if it's a distraction from your everyday life, if you know your stomach is full, you're bursting at the seams, but you still want something else and you'll go get it, then you may be suffering from obesity and you may have an issue with head hunger, right? So the head hunger is, you've got this noise creeping in to the dialogue in your head, right? You're thinking about, what can I eat? What can I have next? You're opening the fridge, even though you're not hungry, but you're looking for something, right? You're thinking about, what could I eat? There might even be a battle, right? This battle of willpower where you're saying to yourself, no, I do not need to eat. I just ate. I'm not hungry. But you still want something else, right? And you feel like you have to white knuckle it, right, to stay away from the food. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about head hunger. Okay, that is exactly what I'm talking about. And for those of you who have it, you will know. You will know. You can just raise your hand and say, "That's me. That's me," because you'll know. You'll know what it is, what it looks like. I remember listening to a YouTube interview with Rosie O'Donnell, who is on Mounjaro, and she is a type 2 diabetic, I believe. And she was talking about how her when her kids were little, they would go trick-or-treating and they bring all the candy back and they would have to hide the candy from her. She said, because she would know it's in the house and she'd start searching for it, right? That's what I'm talking about. And that could happen even when you're not hungry. You just want it. You just crave it, right? So the second thing I want to talk about is, so should you be hungry on ZEPBOUND? Should you be hungry on Mounjaro? Should you be hungry on Wegovy or Saxenda? Should you be hungry on it? The answer is yes. And I say that with a hesitation. Yes, you should still feel hungry. You still should feel hunger when your body needs food and nutrients, right? You need to make sure that you're getting enough protein, you need the proper vitamins, everything that you need. For me, my doctor wants me to have at minimum 100 grams of protein a day. At minimum, that's what she wants me to have in my diet. And we know protein makes you feel fuller longer. You have that satiety when you're eating protein rich foods. So, you know, but can you be on the medication and still feel hunger? Like, will your stomach still growl when you haven't when you haven't fed yourself in a long time? Yes, of course, that will still happen. But you shouldn't have the food noise. You shouldn't have head hunger. That should go away, right? And with the proper dose of medication, I believe that it will go away. I believe that it will go away. And I hear so many people talking about it and describing feeling normal because they can control, their eating based on that food noise going away. And I'll give you an example of when I first noticed the impact of the medication. And it was when I first started, my doctor first put me on medication, she put me on Ozempic. And that was before the change where they said no more Ozempic for people who are not type 2 diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic, but I'm not type 2 diabetic. And hopefully I will never be on the medication. So, but I was taking it, and I remembered I told my doctor this because she was asking me, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And I said, I knew something was different when I went into the Staples to pick up some office supplies for my business. And I was in the line waiting my turn. And it was around 11:30 in the morning. My husband and my son were going to go have breakfast or have lunch in a little bit, maybe in an hour or so. And I was physically hungry, right? My stomach was growling. So I was physically hungry. I'm on the medication. And I look over and, like right by checkout, they have all these bags of candy and all the things, right? And I looked over at it and I said to myself, no, I'm going to eat lunch soon. I'll just wait. I don't need to nibble on that right now. That would have never happened before having the medication. It never would have. I would have just put it in the bag and said, I'm just going to munch on something to hold me over until I had my lunch. And that's when I knew, wait a minute, that's not you, Ange. Like, that's not your typical behavior. That must be the medication kicking in. And the way that I described that to my doctor was I said to her, I felt normal. I felt like I could make these decisions for myself like my friends do. Like, I don't really have any friends that I can think of off the top of my head who struggle with obesity, right? I don't, they'll look at something and say, I'm good. I always talk about my best friend, Lorna, who will see something, like it'll be 7:00 at night and we're talking on the phone and she's like, oh, my stomach's growling. I'm really hungry. I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to make for yourself? And she'll say, well, it's really kind of late. I'm not going to eat anything now, 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'll just wait until the morning and get something. Like, I could never do that because I didn't really understand that. I was like, well, if you're hungry, feed yourself, right? But she's like, it's too late. I don't want that food sitting on my stomach while I'm sleeping. I'll just get it and I'll just eat something in the morning. And that's what I consider, quote unquote, normal, when you can make those sensible decisions for yourself and not eat like a Thanksgiving dinner at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, unless that's kind of your schedule, right? So that's when I knew that there was something in my brain. There was something different, like a switch that changed with the medication. And I'll probably do a video about this too, just about the brain chemistry. I'm a firm believer that it is in my brain. It is in my brain because all the other approaches affected the physical part of my body, my stomach, whether it's, a bariatric surgery or some kind of restriction or counting the points and and all the things. But up here, the head hunger, that craving, that fierce desire for food, even when the body wasn't physically hungry, is what makes, I think, people who have obesity different. And I had a conversation with my friend yesterday about this too. And she's saying, well, when people go off the drug, if they don't change their behavior, they're going to gain all the weight back. And I say, I believe that this is a treatment for life. It would be nice if one day they develop something where you can take it once and you never have to take it again. But I see it as a treatment for life because even if I go a year or 2 years of working out, good nutrition, and and I come off the medication after that and I'm doing good and I lose the weight and I come off the medication, the brain chemistry hasn't changed. So if without the medication, I feel like I'll just go back to those same behaviors. Like I won't be able to fight what I call the monster, the beast, right? That calls you with these cravings. So, and if you're not somebody who suffers from obesity, that might be kind of sound like crazy talk, right? It might sound like it's something that you can't really relate to. But I implore you to lean into what I'm saying, because maybe you don't have that, but maybe somebody in your family does. And I talk about this in almost all of my videos, that we need to get the word out more about obesity. We need more understanding and more compassion around what it really is, what it really looks like, right? So what do we do about this, right? What do you do if you're on the medication and you're feeling hungry? I'll tell you, the reason I'm doing this video is because 6 days in, so before I had my second dose, I had my first dose, I was good, had the control, had hunger, turned off. 6 days in, I started feeling hungry again. I was like, I'm feeling like I want to munch, right? So, and I made myself a sandwich and a glass of milk, because I felt like it was coming back, right? So then I had my medication, and this week I feel like it's hit or miss, right? Some days I'm perfectly good, and other days I felt like I want to munch. And so it's probably my body trying to figure things out. But what my doctor said to me was, she said that she believes that I need a higher dose in order for it to be stable and sustainable, right? That to 2.5 dose or a 5 milligram dose of ZEPBOUND for me, and everybody's different, but for me, isn't enough to stabilize me and turn the head hunger off completely, right? So first, understand that this is normal, that you can get hungry on the medication. Most likely, it means that your body is trying to adapt. For me, it means that I need my dose increased, right? I need to what they call titrate up, right? And here are the doses of ZEPBOUND, just so you know. Wegovy and Saxenda, their doses are different. But for ZEPBOUND, so it's not apples to apples, is what I'm saying. For ZEPBOUND, and I always mix up the first dose, but it's 2.5 milligrams. That's the first dose. The second one is 5 milligrams. And then the third one is, and I'm currently on 5 milligrams, but I'm getting ready in 2 weeks, I'll go on to 7.5 milligrams. Then the next up is 10 milligrams, and the top is 15 milligrams. And the studies show in the sample size, the test that they did, that when they go to the higher doses, they show even more weight loss. Okay. So my doctor said to me that, I might not feel any effects at a 2.5 or 5, that, once I get onto the 7.5 and up, I may really start to feel it, right? But some people never have to go that high. Some people can just have the 2.5 milligrams and they're just dropping weight, and they have no head hunger, and they have full control over what they eat, and they feel good, okay? So I hope that this has helped you. At the end of the day, once you have your proper dose, and you're eating well, you're drinking your water, and your nutrition is good, you should be feeling really good, and you should not have any head hunger on ZEPBOUND or Wegovy or any of these. You shouldn't have that head hunger. You'll feel physically you'll feel the physical hunger, yes. And if you haven't eaten in a while, that's normal, right? Exactly. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I welcome your questions and your comments. So please leave them. Feel free to leave them. Ask me anything. I will share with you, good, bad, and ugly. Did I want to come to you and say, I'm still hungry, I'm still trying to munch on things? No, I don't want to share. I want to say it was an amazing week. Everything was great, and I lost 20 pounds, right? But I'm going to tell you the truth, right? And I'm going to give you the good, bad, and ugly with it. No side effects still feeling good, still feeling strong. One of you asked me if I felt any nausea. And I said, yesterday, I felt nauseous for like 2 seconds. I was like, am I feeling nauseous? And then it was gone. I was walking my dog, and then it was gone. So I really haven't had any side effects. but I want to share everything that happens, because that once I go to the 7.5, that could happen, right? So I'd love for you to share your feedback, your comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. Have you felt any head hunger? Do you still feel physically hungry? Tell me a little bit about your journey. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Share this. If there's people in your life that you know could benefit from hearing this journey, or have questions about because these are new cutting edge weight loss medications, please, share it with them and ring the bell for notification, because you never know when I'll be back. If something goes down, I'm coming back to share with the community. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate having all of you here. I love reading your comments. So please also comment, and take care. Bye for now until I see you next time.